here of
Right,
organized play.
exactly.
But we are into Kafe, as Kick said, and we are picking our first operators. And immediately, there's a lot of familiar things. Ash in here and Jaeger in here. But we're immediately going without a smoke. We have got the Echo instead, performing a similar job, but arguably not as well.
I would say maybe the Echo's not the best choice, as again compared to a smoke. A smoke brings so much more to your team. You have more maneuverability, you have more utility overall, and you have more kill potential with that SMG-11. As well as you said earlier, we are seeing a Mira come back to the playing field on this top floor bomb site. This makes a lot of sense. She pretty much establishes control on Piano in her entirety.
And that was arguably where we saw this map won and lost in all our previous games in the week. In that Piano take, the attackers would take it or the defenders would hold it, and that would generally be the round. What we did see from North America, though, at this earlier situation, was finally teams trying that A-bomb site instead, playing on the windows, rappelling on in, playing from the skylight, and it had mixed success, but we'll see whether or not that is a strategy Europe tries to adapt to. Looking more at the Echo, while we did say Smoke arguably does a better job of controlling areas with his smoke grenades and whatnot, what can be done with the drone that obviously a smoke charge can't do is gather its own intel. So we'll see how exactly Millenium choose to use that drone and to see why they chose this choice instead.
Also, some people do choose to bring Echo simply because he has the he has an ACOG. Now, Smoke cannot have an ACOG on his SMG-11 anymore, and as such, he is kind of limited to close-range engagements.
Yeah, so we do see the ACOG MP5 over here by the A site. Will give angle all the way through to Cigar if required. And of course the drone is sitting there and above that spot. It does look like the gBots push is shaping up to push towards Piano and Cigar, as is more standard for this map, rather than anything over towards the A-bomb site so early on. So we'll see how it shapes up. There is a castle barricade holding their way, and the other thing to note, which we've focused a lot on defense but haven't looked at the attack, is they haven't brought a Hibana. They've got a Thermite. Now, getting through the mirror windows may be a bit tougher without the range of the Hibana charges, but once you've got control of Piano, getting these walls open will be so much easier with the Thermite.
I mean, you can bring a Hibana and a Thermite, but there's so many situations in which you need a Thermite that we saw on teams that have been playing Kafe, where they just don't bring one. And it's really good to see from gBots that they're conscious of that, and they're making that conscious decision to bring a Thermite.
So the drops are coming in through the red hatch. Liven has heard them and is watching for feet at the door. From what I can see, it is not pre-punched by anyone, so it's going to require a lot of breaking down if the attackers want to come through it. And he is toying with them, punching it through himself. That's the danger. Having these both reinforced, however, may help the attackers get control of Piano here for a moment. They've got one hole in the wall open. Liven's feet were spotted but not shot there by Lion. That's going to throw me up, Liven and Lion.
Looks like they're just kind of trying to forfeit Piano control to bait the attackers to come on in.
Lion forcing Liven in and above the hatch where they had Drid waiting underneath to receive him. Beautiful play to get that castle out of Cigar without even destroying the barricades that were locking him in there. While now Drid and Choi are both clearing the floor below. 6Quattro though has killed Lion through this very tight angle that we talked about in towards Cigar. So despite having the hole in towards the Piano open, he came through the doorway and 6Quattro was waiting for him. 40 seconds on the clock and not a lot of extra progress been made here by the attacking squad. And the Millenium positions inside the actual bomb site itself haven't really been challenged. It's easy now looking through a mirror window over towards the side of Piano. He's got Mira still in there with him. Barrage is trying to look through, push from Cigar, but they know 6Quattro's watching this angle. 6Quattro's actually off his ACOG and on his drone, and Yogus will track down Wesker very quickly from inside the site. Now he's looking for Barrage as the next man through. Barrage sticks his head right in Yogus' crosshairs, and he will lose that fight. Smoke grenades are going off. Choi cannot see through them because he's not the glass. Looks to come on in, and Yogus gets himself a third. Drid is the last man standing. He's still downstairs. Coming up the white staircase, he does down Steezy. Doesn't have the time to finish him off or do anything else. And round one goes to Millenium.
So we've talked about Kafe attack strats before a lot, and we've talked about how the points of contentions are pretty similar. They've gone from the freezer wall to simply the door from Cigar. And obviously here, Millenium is showing us what they've been in the past. They're showing us that strategy where they know where you're going to come from, and they're just going to establish a way that you simply can't come there. So the first step of that was putting the castle into the Cigar, and at first it didn't seem to be something that was helping them at all. But it delayed the attacking team for enough time that as soon as they got into the Cigar room, there really wasn't any time to push into the site. And then unfortunately, they didn't have any other ways to get into the site at that point because they hadn't taken Piano because of the mirror windows and the lack of a Hibana. So that they're just kind of out of time and they have to rush themselves through one little doorway, and you're never going to win that in an attack.
Well, it looks like Millenium knew that was the flaws here in the gBots attack, because they've brought both the Hibana and the Thermite, and they're bringing themselves a Montane here, so how they're going to use this will be interesting. I like this spot, or actually I don't know if I like this spot, actually I can say that, from Lion here. Double mirror windowing the same wall. Now we've seen this in the past, you leave one open, you open one and you close the other, and then you use that as your peak hole. But we'll often see teams, as we did see the Millenium defense, make a hole into the toilet and use that as your run through, giving you more mobility, more unpredictability, and more freedom to move. So Lion's pretty pinned in there, and if grenades start rolling in from the roof hatch...
Yeah, gBots are going for a very static hold here, as you said. It's just kind of it's entirely different from the majority of teams that we've seen play on this particular map so far in Pro League. The most, like you said, will opt to go for more mobility, and it is, I don't know if it's a testament to their confidence in this matchup, or if that's actually their strategy, is they want to just lock themselves in a corner.
So, as the roamers are downstairs in Drid and Choi, Millenium's attack is slowly shaping up as they start to check and make sure of the floors below them.
There's already a minute off the clock here, and they haven't really made much progress at all. They've been working on establishing themselves in the bottom floor, but other than that, not much at all.
Drid is still largely undetected down here, actually. They did drone in and have cleared the areas directly under their repels, but not much above. They've taken out Choi, that's a one roamer. But are they aware of a second one? We'll see as Drid starts to actually go back towards the site. And never mind, that reading room floor is largely penetrable, so if he finds a planter in there, he could do something about it. As it is, though, they've already got themselves a Montane down into the Cigar door, which is allowing them to breach the wall into Piano. Now, we did see gBots do this on their last attack, but then stalled out here. What do you do from this point? Let's see what Millenium's plan is.
They do have that Montane to push themselves through on that stall, but there's a pulse ready to stop him, and if he gets the C4 off successfully, then I'm pretty sure that the Millenium attack is going to fall apart, and it's not. Whoa, he backed right into it.
Straight into it. He was almost safe, but he walked back on top without knowing about it, and there goes not only the diffuser, but also the Montane.
And their momentum in that attack.
So, let's see how they shape it up from here. That did seem to be their driving force. That seemed to be their entire push forward. Now, not only do they have to pick this up, they have to deal with this big-ass hole in the floor that's staring straight at the diffuser and the pulse underneath. Steezy is down there, and Barrage will peel off Renshiro from inside the A site over towards Cigar. He's also doing a lot of damage to Live, and Steezy still hasn't managed to find this Pulse because Pulse has run well away from that spot he was sitting at before, and it's just keeping him busy downstairs. So Liven's pushing upstairs alone right now in a 1v4. He knows where Barrage is, but can't find the angle. Steezy does find Drid, comes up, but is immediately met by his teammate already being killed off. Looking now through the same angle, Barrage misses these shots but gets a bit more confident standing up. It's hitting the rest of them, but it's taking no damage. Steezy walks straight in to get the diffuser, and Wesker's waiting for him with his MPX.
Similar to 6/4 angle, straight through the Cigar wall, Baraz had a very nice angle from those bar stools that he was confident in playing, and it showed when he took out 2 players from it. It's kind of just it's the same situation as we saw with Millenium earlier on their attack. You get stuck, your driving force from your attack, well, in gBots' case, they didn't really have much of a driving force, but in Millenium's attack here, they kind of got stalled out when they lost their Montane. They weren't sure what to do, and they challenged the angles, they lost them, and that was that. Not much innovation from either of these teams on their attack. They aren't trying to go for the ace of bomb site. They aren't trying to mix it up a little bit. They're just simply going for the commonplace strategy, push through Cigar, take control of Piano, and see what you can do from there. Avoid, of course, Piano control given the mirrors.
So...
And I'd like to note, they had that Hibana, but they didn't make use of her to counter the Mira. They didn't try to, they didn't try to establish themselves in Piano at all. They just kind of let her do her
to
thing.
Be fair, they did. They're establishing themselves in there, was pushing the Montane towards the windows. That's what he was doing.
Right.
But then he realized he was way too ahead of his teammates, had to back up a little way, which is when he backed into the C4. And now from there, it was, okay, now we've got no chance.
Yeah, but they still have a chance. I mean, they still have a Hibana. She could still open up those mirrors. That's kind of what I was getting at there. I mean, even if your Montane gets taken down, you have to be able to challenge those angles and win those fights. And they simply didn't try.
Now, as it is, 1 round apiece, we are looking for that spawn peek from West 6/4. He missed the shots onto Wesker. Wesker, though, was ready for it and did drone out the location. So that is why 6 panicked and moved away from it. But again, 6 making those aggressive peaks at the start is a very familiar sight from him. Similar attacking lineup then from gBots as they like to shape towards the actual middle side this time over. They are looking to get in and above quickly. They did take a lot of time getting in there before and then got stalled out.
It's interesting that they have the same exact lineup seemingly on a different bomb site. They're not trying to mix it up at all. They don't bring a Hibana, which makes a lot of sense, I guess, on a train attack, but they also don't bring a Montaigne, which could be useful here, or a Glass, which equally so could be useful.
We'll see why they don't do it in a moment as they are attacking the top floor, which is heavily defended by Millenium. 3 players up here at the moment.
And there's those mirror windows again, which a Hibana could be, very useful in getting rid of.
Their option here, though, is use an Ash next to it and make the hole beside the mirror window even bigger. Now, that may actually just help the mirror more.
Yeah.
So they've done that to try and shove her away, but they have got into Cigar. The shots are rattling towards the window. The mirror window got open, or one of them did. We just heard it shatter up. gBots are getting control of Piano, but slowly, because Millenium are smartly backing away from each spot. Lion takes Wesker down with a shot to the back. Team kill not going to help out, and gBots falling apart. As Millenium happy for this. They have just fallen back and fallen back and fallen back.
And now there's only 1 minute.
Liven shows up and runs away again. They burnt the clock down, let gBots hurt themselves by being slow and being scared, and then killing themselves with that team kill. Just letting gBots pick themselves apart here. Millenium playing very, very smart.
This is kind of a shaky start from gBots. They're playing in a way that doesn't seem like they have a lot of confidence, but they get 2 picks on the board to even out the score.
Yeah, but they've only got a minute to go, so let's see what they do with them as Drid and Lion pick up a kill each. Down goes Valkyrie and the Echo. Valkyrie out of the picture is not the end of the world. She's still got cameras placed, but the Echo drone now being off the table, depending on where it's placed, may lose a lot of information for Millenium. Liven over by the red stairs, Renshiru in the train room, one inside the B site, and as the holes in the floor are starting to be opened up by Buck, the pressure from gBots is heading towards train. They've only just got the hatch open though, and there's 30 seconds to go. They've got to get in and plant very soon. The pre-fire to the train comes in. Lion gets the kill on Renshiru, very smartly figured, but now there's still 2 more to find. They know that the hatches are pressure. Drid's coming from the red stairs. They haven't found the Jaeger yet. Liven keeping himself safe and hidden inside the site. In comes Drid. Liven was shot down as he figured out where to be. Yogus is inside and cannot get the kill. Drid goes huge at the end of that round. Pick up the 2 final kills and put gBots in the lead.
So initially a shaky start from gBots, but they kind of just they solidify themselves. They've taken control of top now. That's what their goal was in the first place. They get those 2 picks early on to the last minute of that round. And the final push, there wasn't a lot for the defensive team to do to stop them. They got a lot of good pre-fires off.
So the lead in gBots' favor again, but time for Millenium to attack.
I think the problem with that last defense round for Millenium was that while they did, yes, they got the early picks, of course, and they wasted the clock, they forfeited upstairs control and then proceeded to play in positions which were compromised by the lack of upstairs control. So they got picked off so easily from, well, vertical gameplay.
So, time now for gBots to defend that same location. The upstairs hold from Millenium there was a work of art, in all fairness, setting it all up and playing those spots for just long enough to scare the gBots attackers into slowing down and taking a double take, and then just running back to safety and waiting.
Yeah, unfortunately, their anchor was a little bit off, and gBots capitalized on it.
Yeah, their anchor was, while static, predictable.
Yeah,
as you saw, all the pre-fire and all the.
That's a really interesting mirror window. Typically speaking, mirror windows won't go in places where they could be in any way advantageous to the attacking team. And in that position, if there's somebody playing on the balcony outside of train and he's looking through that, you could pretty much nullify any sort of flank from a defender coming up from bottom of red stairs, for example. So kind of an interesting mirror window from from the defensive team there. They could have just as easily left the wall unreinforced and opened up shotgun holes, which is exactly what Millenium did in the previous round.
Be interesting to see if they play anyone in that Christmas corridor, because they would be able to help that mirror window support.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. As it is, maybe they did put a lot of research into Millenium, because it seems like they're heavily favoring this staircase as an angle of attack for now. So yeah, maybe they know that's where the push is going to come through. That's why they want to give it up, or like put that mirror window there. But let's see whether or not it pays off or backfires, as you mentioned. This time, the Montaigne is up on the roof again. 6-4 looking to drone and then drop through the red hatch like he did before. This time there's even more chance of being C4'd from below, as there are more and more defenders on that level. So they're making sure the drones are there. Down below, Choya takes out Yogurts with a very quick peek out from the reading room as he then continues to seal up the door again and cover himself from behind. He took a little bit of damage from it, but nothing too crazy serious. But with Ash off the table, A lot of the pressure that this Montaigne could push down is actually relieved.
So maybe it is direct counter Mira because they are seeing the way that Millenium is taking this. It is pretty much focused on the red stairs here.
And Montaigne will have just been spotted in that mirror window too. Of course, she can see through the one she's hiding behind, through that second one, and into the staircase. But as he now continues to push up the rest of the top floor, he's looking for this pulse, but he doesn't know about it. So he's got to be aware there may be someone up here. Heartbeat sensor goes off, does catch Red Shearer's heartbeat through the wall, looking towards the hatch.
Doesn't look like they droned the freezer at all. They're kind of just moving around him.
Grenade from Steezy goes down and kills Wesker. Red Shearer gets spotted out and gets taken down by Drid, who does then get finished off by second person. Steezy finishes Drid off and returns. They do trade straight back to back, and they are down to a 3v3. Six Quattras alive this time, but they haven't opened the hatch, so the Montaigne has to go down a staircase. Thankfully, they've brought a second player with a breach ability, and it's Liven's Hibana to open the hatch up instead. 45 seconds to go on the clock, though, and there's not a lot of health here on Steezy's sledge. Down the red staircase comes Six Quattro again. He's going to be spotted here by Lion through the wall. He's unsure about where and what he can go from here. Mirror window gets opened up from inside. Lion gets a better angle on where this Montaigne may be. Liven is watching for the flank over the Christmas balcony. Steezy now back towards the hatch as Lion is pushing forward. Steezy looking to try and get around behind him. The Montaigne comes around and takes him out all on his own. Smart play. Six Quattro there. 3v2 now, but Steezy is down as soon as he drops into the site. Six Quattro now being watched from inside B by Barrage. The diffuser is in Montaigne's hand. Cross comes Choi. He sees one and tags him and can't kill it. They are delaying the plant as best they can. Barrage will finish Liven off. Now it's just Six Quattro. Doesn't have time to plant, and just for good measure, Choi puts a bullet between his eyes.
And that's how you play Train. You, instead of, okay, yes, you delay as much as you can the attackers upstairs. You try and waste their time, and they did just that. They got them down to the last 40 seconds before they were able to start pushing downstairs. But after you've done that, you don't anchor in the site, because as soon as the attackers have established themselves above the site, they have free reign to go ahead and kill anyone anchoring. And what you saw from gBots there is, instead of doing that, instead of anchoring similar to what we saw with Millenium, that static play in the site, they opted to instead play it towards a reading room and far out in B, because you can easily retake from those positions.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Upstairs again, go Millenium. They're now down by 2 rounds and have to find some.
Oh, no.
I was going to say something magical, but that's not exactly the magic I had in mind. Liven and Renshiro exploding on top of one another.
That's going to be a lot of HP off the board for both of them. Not really worth resetting, though. It looks like it's just above 50%, but all the same, you're going to lose an engagement just on that much.
That is, in some situations, 2 rounds that you could take.
Yeah.
And survive extra. Instead, they're going to drop very early on. See, looking down the kill leaderboard. A very different story for each squad, but ultimately,
5 seconds left
spreads for each one.
This is a pretty common Valkyrie cam. I wouldn't be surprised if this gets taken off the board early by gBots.
Locate and defuse the bomb.
Throws it straight on out. Now most of gBots are spawned on the other sides, but Barrage may have spotted it. Once again, though, that one peek from Six Quattro means they're aware of the windows every single time they come forward now.
Not taking any risks at all. They're being very cautious.
And they were right to be. Wesker takes Six Quattro out with a late peek that he tries this time over. Wesker still cautious and ready for it. You rarely see teams looking at windows for that long,
So this is
unless they're against Six Quattro.
This is a very bad start for Millenium. They've got about 100 HP off the board already with that impact grenade, and then another 100 HP off the board with the lack of an echo. So already they're pretty much, in essence, they're almost 2 players down.
Yeah, and Echo's drone, of course, now in a static spot. Hopefully on a roof somewhere. We'll see.
Can you actually spectate Echo's drone?
Yeah, as Echo
yeah.
dead, you can still spectate your drone. You obviously can't Zap shock with it.
Right.
You can't. If it's on the floor, you can't raise it to the roof or anything.
So
but
he will be able to give information to his team,
yeah,
but it
if
might
it's
not be
placed
anything.
somewhere worthwhile.
Yeah.
Now, if
He might not have even placed it that early
exactly. He may not have thrown it. He may have just.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is not good for the Liven. They were ready for it. You did that last game. You sat in that same spot before. Wesker was ready, seeing and watching him.
He actually shot his feet last time he did that,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
it's kind of weird that he'd do that again.
Try and challenge that angle.
Yeah. And it looks like a really excellent start from gBots so far.
Yeah, this is looking to be a 4-1 round. Steezy, Ventura, and Yogurts have got to step up big time for this round if they want to make that work, and that's not a good start. Steezy's MPX shots will tag Drid, but only put a hole in his ear, I believe, with a little bit of damage done. Drid will walk away.
And, you know, gBots is worth noting, they haven't really established they have the early picks off, right? But they haven't established dominance on much of anything so far. All they have is Cigar and a little bit of Piano.
Which, to be fair, is what we saw last time they attacked this site. They
Yeah.
got into these same spots, but then didn't know what to do from here. And
Exactly.
even though they're only against 3 players now, they still seem a bit lost. They are smoking up the windows and pushing, but they lose one to the Yogurts. So Drew will fall. There's the Thermite
No.
down from around that peak too.
That's why
Steezy
you bring Habana.
shutting him out. Wesker pre-firing the hole. Lion is trying to crawl away to the safety, but would have been spotted. Choi's got in. He's behind them inside the freezer, but is he aware of this? Renshiro is waiting for him. Drop down now. Wesker now peeking around. Wesker wins that fight, but Steezy will take down Lion. Then the Yogurts will finish off Wesker, and we asked these guys to go big, and they're currently winning a 3v5. Yogurts and Steezy still standing. Renshiro down, but they only have Barrage to find, and he's still stuck on the roof with 30 seconds to go. He's looking to rappel over on the south side of the building and start to head in through one of these windows, but it's given him a chance to heal up Renshiro. Back now to a 3v1. They'd have heard that punch on the window, but he does get the kill onto Yogurts. Looking now for the next 2 inside freezer. He has to go on in. They're going to hear it. Steezy ready to peek when they hear it through the window. They come from either side. They're going to hold firm. They are playing very, very disciplined here. Comes in from the backside of freezer. One to his left, one to his right. Doesn't look the right way. Will fall to Steezy. And Millenium hold 5v3.
Okay, so as an analyst, I'm kind of starved on that round because what gBots' strategy seems to be is let's open up the piano wall and then win all of our engagements. That's not a strategy, guys. That's just kind of hoping that you're going to get lucky. And they did. They got really lucky in the beginning of that round, and they still couldn't capitalize on it. They had 2 players down, 50-50 on 2 other players, and well, actually just one of the players still alive. But all the same, they were in a really great position to win that round, and the lack of a Habana, the lack of a Montaigne, the lack of a Glaz, anything to get them past those Miras to establish dominance on piano, or maybe just push their way through the doorway in Cigar. They had none of that, and because of that, they lost the round.
So,
No strategy to push them past Cigar, and that's just not enough, guys.
and that's not the first time we saw that same failure of strategy either.
That's
So,
both of their losses, I think, so far.
yep, both of their losses have been on that same flaw. So we'll find out whether or not they can fix that for another attempt if they get one.
It's likely, though, that if gBots continues on the trend that they're on right now, which is winning every other round, that they're going to win this defense, and then they're going to move themselves to attacking Train again, and they'll be able to win that. So if that's the case, if Millenium hasn't learned from their last Train defense, if they haven't learned from their last time attacking upstairs, then we are going to be seeing gBots push this forward. And this is a really interesting way to open up a hole there into piano. They've cut off the rotation there.
It's a very different way from where we saw gBots defend it last time. Remember, they completely reinforced that toilet and the wall to piano, double mirrored it and static. Now we've got rotate holes into piano, into the toilet, double mirrors holding the similar. Like, this is a very shaped up defense.
They've sort of cut off their defense, or sorry, not their defense. They've sort of cut off the rotation in freezer to bathroom by opening up that hole into piano. And I get, yes, having a hole in piano, but do you need to do it there? Does it have to be in the middle?
No, yeah, exactly. They can't get out of freeze themselves now. There are still 2 or 1 roamer running around here for gBots. Grid currently on the bottom floor.
I think they just saw that Valkyrie cam, so they haven't actually gotten the one that's outside towards White Garage.
So we'll see whether or not they pay for that. Drid still watching for maybe coming into the bakery. Millenium though not doing that play. They have just
The drop down on the roof.
with a sledge and an ash.
Yeah, I think because they've been thermiting it this whole time. I think in their mind they're thinking, okay, well, they thermited that.
Thermited that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in their mind they're thinking, okay, we're only going to use this on the piano wall, and then we don't need thermite after that. And they're kind of right in a way. They do have a Habana, so they are going to be able to open up any of the Miras or anything like that.
That's true. Sledge was busy on the floor below. He also did grenade. He cooked a grenade, threw it from underneath to destroy the batteries, which allows them to thermite that piano wall now when they decide to drop on through. So, as they are being harm-heated, tracked by Drid, there goes that second thermite charge. So, yep, that's his job done. Thankfully, they aren't going to try and run a thermite up to that mirror wall like we saw gBots try to do last round. So
that just does not work.
They don't need another one, I guess.
I mean, you can smoke your progress towards the wall, but as soon as the guy hears you planting the thermite charge on it, you're dead.
Smoke works against you.
Exactly.
You can peek into it, yeah. So, Steezy's still covering from this angle below, but is he going to hold it for long enough? Drid is still down here. Yogis is coming around from the other side. Drid's gone right to the basement, though. Yeah, back to droning a little bit. Minute to go, and yeah, okay, they're inside piano now. Six Crutcher's not been C4'd from underneath this time. But what else are they going to do? He's looking for the camera, and we'll shut that out before reloading again. Liven's still up on the roof as the Hibana, so it means he's not going to be able to take out these mirror windows here, but this push might just do it.
This is the first time the driving force has been alive in one of these pushes, and I think it might work out for Secure.
And it does. Lion gets pushed into Liven because of Montaigne coming around like that. Yoga's now coming in the other side, is taking down Choi. CZ still downstairs with Yogas, and they pick off Drid as well. Now it's just 2 men upstairs. Wesker in the white corridor by Blueprints, pushing in towards Piano. He looks for Renshiro, misses the shot, and he's going to get flanked by Yogas any second now. They have planted the diffuser inside the site. Barrage couldn't stop that. The C4 is going to go out and do nothing at all. Wesker now a little bit busy because up on the hatch, there goes Liven with another kill onto Barrage. This is more likely from Millenium, a beautifully executed attack.
A perfect round for them. They did not lose a single member. That was a wonderful, like you said, a beautifully executed attack. And what I think it really came down to was for the first time on that particular bomb site on attack for either of these teams, the person who needs to push their way into the site and establish dominance on the defenders was still alive, and that was that Montaigne. Some of these teams, gBots hasn't actually been bringing a Montaigne. They haven't been bringing Montaigne or Glaz or anything to push their way through, or even a Hibana for that matter to get rid of the mirrors and Piano. And they've been, they've been losing those rounds because of that. But Millenium, they have been bringing their Montaigne. It just usually dies early on, and in this case it didn't, so they were able to push all the way in.
So,
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
And now we're on 3-3. Both of these teams neck and neck. Millenium is going to be defending Train Room, which is a site that they haven't had a lot of success on so far, if I recall correctly. They played a little bit too static, so they do that upstairs delay. They force the attackers to waste as much time as possible upstairs. But then, as soon as they get back down, and as soon as they default back into the site, they just get pre-fired on because they're playing in predictable locations.
10 seconds remaining.
So are they going to be able to adjust from that, or are they going to move themselves a little bit further out? They can maybe play in
5
reading
seconds
room
left
and
before
play in B site and have holes into A to just kind of go for that retake.
Attackers
Or
Or rather, the other way around when it comes to those sites. Playing, no, I was right, sorry. B side playing shoot at A.
Cheesy then still opening a couple of windows just to generate a bit of fear, throw the camera out. Will it have been hidden, or will Barrage see it? He didn't. He was looking the wrong way, thanks to those window punches we saw earlier on. So that camera is going to stay on the wall for a little bit longer at the very least. Choi may have spotted it. We'll see. No, looks like he's got away with it. So this camera's going to provide a lot of information if gBots don't find it.
I think this camera's actually been on the Millenium side for the majority of this map, and it hasn't gotten shot yet.
Up to the roof goes Lion. Again, of course, they were looking to go on in.
And there's almost a minute off the board here. Now that's actually a pretty big, that's a pretty significant amount of time to have off the board when you're attacking Train Room and you're going for an upstairs to downstairs take, because you really need every second when you're doing this.
Choi's using some of those seconds, punching his way through this
Use
castle
one of the ash
barricade.
charges, dude. Just use one of the ash charges. Or, okay.
Or a breach charger on Wesker, that'll do. Oh,
Did
changed
he
his
just
mind.
take it off?
I think he realized it's like one punch away. Either way, Barrage has picked off a kill onto Yogas elsewhere, so there goes that Jaeger out of the picture. Upstairs, they're still aware of Renshiro. They did drone him out and they know he's hit. That was the castle barricade breaking as well. Now what's he breaching? Oh, it's a thermite charge. There we go. So that's that wall I'm putting up instead. They have control and Piano, but they still have killed off Renshiro. But now Wesker's pushing him. Tagged him up, and he's dropped down through the hatch. Liven's still here. Also dropped down now through. So that fallback play from Millenium we saw earlier on is coming out again, but they've lost a few more people this time. Let's see how scared gBots are. They seem to be less. They're looking more aggressive already. Pushing those people back and now aggressively coming through these upper floors. Careful not to shoot each other in the head again. And they have this top floor under their control with a minute 12 to go. So now they've got to shape it up into an attack downstairs. They knew where everyone was going to be sitting downstairs last time. They pre-fired a lot of the angles. They figured out where those anchors were and did their job. Now they're going to start breaching this floor, and they have a lot of time to spend. They only had 45 seconds to do it last time. This time they had over a minute. So the holes start to come out. The drones are coming out again. There's not a lot of help on Renshiro. He's trying to hide inside the train, but he does get droned out by Barrage. Inside the A site now, Liven is going to get spotted by that drone in just a moment. More holes are being made here by Drid above reading room. Making sure this area is clear, making sure they can pin all the defenders actually inside the bomb sites themselves. Drops through once he's told by that drone that it is a clean location. He's unsure about what might be behind him. He's right, 6 Scratchers there. Barrage has finished off Renshiro now that he's low. 6 Scratcher still here in reading. Here's the drops coming around in this corridor. He's looking for an opportunity to come on around. He finds Wesker's head, but Wesker flicks up and finishes 6 Scratcher in time.
15 seconds remaining.
2 defenders left up, 5 attackers. The plant is going down inside the A site.
10 seconds remaining.
Cautious of where these two are. One coming up behind, but they were ready for it. They were
Attackers
aware.
activating
Wesker
the
given that kill before Steezy finishes off Choi. Steezy now has to ace this to win it, as he's got 4 players to find. The plant is down inside the A site line, is looking through this hole. Barrage is above the trapdoor, but the shot's coming in from behind, and Drid with a wall bang finishes Steezy off to put gBots 1 round away from winning the map.
Millennium, they did adjust them. Ooh, look at this. Nice shot through the doorway. That was great. Millennium did adjust their defense there to supposedly counter the way that gBots was doing that take, where they got the pre-fires onto the anchors onto the site. They had more people playing in reading room and playing out in the roaming sort of game, right? They were setting up for the retake. However, gBots, they're familiar with that, as that is the way that they defend the site, and they were very clearly setting themselves up to counter exactly that with opening up the ceiling of reading room, denying that hard roam, watching red stairs pretty much the entire time throughout that attack. They were ready for the roamer game from Millennium, and it just didn't work out for them. That adjustment was, I think, sensible and calculated by Millennium, but it just wasn't the right one in this case.
So time then for gBots to defend this upper floor. If they do it right, we're on to map number 2.
And they've had good success with this upstairs floor in the past, and it's been because of, or actually, no, they haven't had, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Millennium, actually. Millennium is going to be bringing in Montaigne again this time. Now, they've won it one time with the Montaigne. They've lost it one time with the Montaigne. Going up, the one that they did lose was because Pulse got that C4 from underneath. And it really comes, when it's in a situation where it comes down to whether or not your Pulse is going to C4 Montaigne from underneath, that's a lot to put onto one individual.
Yeah, especially when last round, not only did that Pulse not get the C4 from underneath, it was because the beautiful push from Steezy and I believe it was Yogurts, that Ash and the Sledge combination cleaned out these lower 4s right as the push came on through.
Yeah.
Drid is down there again. Jaeger was roaming with him before, but both of them were picked off and killed pretty early on in their last attempt, so they need to try and stay alive a bit longer.
Reloading.
Once more, Millennium have droned and pre-fired and just opened up some of these locations down below to make sure they're safe to rappel up without anyone running out on them. It's smart and it's safe and it's quick. So they do get that done and start to make their way up to the roof once more. They'll drop in through red, then they'll breach into piano, then they'll try and pressure in from those mirror windows. But
Drid is playing all the way down on the bottom floor, and he's playing in a position where he can dynamically move to pretty much anywhere at all, playing at the bottom of those lobby stairs. He's got a lot of options from that, and he doesn't really have to worry about anyone coming in through his lobby door, given that it would be a lot of time wasted by the attackers to pressure from there.
this time though, Yogus is on the roof. Steezy's still on the balcony like he's been before, but Yogus is nowhere else to try and push. Previously he's come in through that garage, through the white staircase, and they've pushed from either side. He may still rotate down there in a bit, but how long does he take to get that done?
They are cutting off red stairs in an interesting way. They're leaving somebody on balcony rather than playing it from the drop, and I think that's a really nice creative way to handle this. And he's going to actually move his way up to the roof now, so I'm guessing he might be playing that from the drop now. They still have that Montaigne. He is going to be starting to push his way through this door in a moment here. He's going to try and force Lion off of his mirrors, and as soon as that happens, he's got a lot. His team has a lot of options on this push.
Drid C4 just got used in piano and didn't touch anyone, so that Montaigne is looking safer by the second. Choi is out there inside this Christmas corridor looking for an opportunity to pick off anyone coming inside the site. Wesker's now here with him. Drid is underneath reading room catching more and more, but as the grenades are coming in to take out the barbed wire, Millenium are setting up to push inside the site. Stizzy drops over into red stairs and now looking for that flank up on his drone. Wesker is about to walk around the corner. Does get spotted by the drone. Yeah, Yogus comes in through reading room, takes down Choi. Now we're looking for a second push from Yogus. This is what we needed from him. He took longer than before, but he's getting the job done. Steezy's now joining him. They're pressuring this floor as Barrage takes off the Montaigne upstairs. That's the diffuser down though. 4v4, Flick comes out from Wesker, but neither damage gets completed. Yogus picked up from above, Barrage with a beautiful shot. The diffuser's still down in the doorway, and this is looking very good for the defensive hold from gBots. 25 seconds to go. Barrage still watching above. Diffuser's still down on the floor. Frenchiro falls down as a mirror inside the freezer. Lion getting that kill as it's now 4v2. CZ starts to make his way across through the bar. The flick comes up from Barrage. He gets one. Lion gets another, but now he's looking. They don't even know where Barrage is. Liven's still pushing forward. He turned his back on him and he hasn't got the kill. Drid from across the bar helps out with the final kill to push us to map 2 with a 1-0 lead to gBots.
GG, I thought Barrage got that kill at the end there.
Nope, Drid got it from across here. Barrage missed a lot of shots, but so did Liven.
So on that attack, unlike the way Millennium handled it in the first time they won that attack, they didn't try to hunt the roamers early on. Instead, they waited a little bit longer, and as such, they only got one of the 2 roamers. The other one was allowed to default back into the site. And then a player from above was ready for the Ash to push through on that balcony because there wasn't enough time for Ash to go anywhere else. So it was basically a free kill for Bandit. Montaigne got picked off, and that was pretty much the end of the round.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. It was all right. We've set up all our push here. We set up our pressure here. And as soon as the roamers start to focus their attention back up to here, we push them downstairs and surprise them.
Just not enough time.
Yeah, not enough time. They didn't actually manage to land anything after that first kill. And you say Barrage's position there was beautiful to cover
right, yeah.
that entry from above. And the drone that Ash used didn't catch him. So
Yeah.
nicely done. We are now going to head over to our second map. It's going to be Chalet. It's a map which plays a little bit more fluid.
I think Chalet is probably the most, I want to say, it covers all the different bases. It's dynamic, it's static, it has a bunch of different factors involved. There's vertical gameplay, but there's equally not in some situations. Like, for example, you can open up the entire lobby floor, but even, you're very exposed to the roamers who are going to be upstairs. So there's, a lot of things for every team to consider on that particular map, and I think it's really well balanced because of it.
We did see some moments of brilliance from both of these squads here. gBots showing us their new strong force in this game, and of course the fact that Millenium have been around for so long, shining through in that 3v5 victory, that cohesion, that natural teamwork that those guys have is there as well. So we'll see.
Honestly, I feel like it was really good by Millenium, but at the same time I feel like gBots kind of backed themselves into a corner by not having a Montaigne or a Havana.
Definitely agree, but at the same time, when you're 5v3, we talked about it on Monday, and all you have to do is just trade kills back and forth.
Yeah.
Those 3 people being able to play well enough to not let that happen, regardless of other strategy involved, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Let's head into Chalet then as map number 2 loads on in. Looking at these selections, we saw Montaigne used by Sisu very well on this map.
Yeah, Sisu used Montaigne to go ahead and force out the roamers from their upstairs hiding spots and push them down into the attacking operators who were waiting in trench to go ahead and pick them off as they got back to their site. But Montaigne has a lot of different uses on this particular map. He can be used in a very dynamic way, but we aren't going to be seeing him from gBots. They haven't really been favoring Montaigne or Glaz at all. They've been sticking to their old guns.
They have, and well, on this site, that means a very familiar lineup of operators to what we saw last time around, bar the Thermite here. Now, is that an oversight, considering they thought they might have been attacking Trophy?
It might be that they were thinking, yeah, they were attacking Trophy, because on a basement defense with a lack of Thermite, you're very much limited in your options. You have to, I think the only real choice on a basement attack without Thermite is to double Habana the snowmobile garage, and then to open up the drop above the B bomb site. That's pretty much all you've got. If you try to take it from Wine Cellar, you're gonna be sore out of luck because you can't get your tank open enough to give your team an advantage.
So we'll see what it is gBots choose to do with their lineup here. Drit's drone is spotting Steezy there. We'll know that the camera's coming out in some way. Six Catcher using that aggressive peek, paying off for him this time. Sprinting out that door, takes Barrage down and seals it up behind him. He lost a little bit of health, but he survived and the damage is done, taking away a powerful operator in that Capitale.
There are 2 players I know of who peek outside almost every defense round, K9 and 6 Quarter.
We saw the fear it put into the attacking gBots last map, Kafe, and that was before he even got a kill with it. This time he gets a kill on first round. So their attacks are going to be a damn sight slower to start in the following rounds. Choi is looking for the camera as he knows it's out there. He suspects it's here, but can't quite find it. And this hold from Millenium,
it's very interesting.
It's very aggressive.
It's unique also. They've obviously done their research. They know that gBots is not going to be bringing a Thermite on this particular take, and that means that they have to take from Bar. And gBots knows this. And they're trying to get in there, but they got one person picked off early, and now their Ash doesn't really have a whole lot of options to get into the bar area.
Wesker steps into that pre-fire from Renshiro, takes the 1 bullet and gets away safely, but still, it's a bullet that he soaked up. Just opened up a couple of the hatches in and around dining room.
This is similar to a clubhouse, or sorry, rather an organ hold where you have 4 roamers and 1 person holding on the site, and it's working out for Millenium so far. Only a minute 30 left on the clock, and the attackers have made oh my gosh!
Choi, what a shot. I mean, Steezy was low, I'll admit, but still, it's impressive.
That was nasty.
Picks it up and makes a move. Gonna get the revive off, but it's taking more time away, but he repicks the same angle, and Yogurts and Choi trade with a headshot on one another. So they both fall, but with a kill like that, it's gonna favor the defense, especially as they were already a man up.
And there's only a minute left on the clock. They have the gBots has established control on upstairs, but they have yet to establish control on bar. And Richiro with
They
a double
knew he
kill.
was there. He tagged Wesker from earlier, and now he gets 2 more kills. And while Wesker finishes off 6 Katra, Liven's there to trade him straight back and give round number 1 to gBots with a beautifully thought out strat.
Or Millenium.
Sorry, Millenium. Yes, you're right.
But yeah, that was a really interesting hold, like you said, from Millenium. They were extremely aggressive, similar to what we see on Oregon from time to time, where we have 4 players upstairs, 1 player in the site, and just control the upstairs and forget about the bomb site because there's only one way to get in there otherwise. In this case, actually, there's one way to get in there, but they know they're not going to be pressuring that, and that's wine. Because they didn't have that thermite, they couldn't go to wine, they couldn't negate all of those roamers, and that really worked against them. This is similar to what we were seeing from gBots on the last map, where they weren't bringing a Montaigne to push their way in upstairs, and they weren't bringing a Hibana to deal with those mirrors in the piano. It seems like they're giving themselves by just not bringing the right operators to do the job.
Interesting hole made by Lion Smoke there in the wall to kitchen. That's a wall which you regularly see reinforced because it allows an angle from that spawn rock in towards the corner of Trophy from a Glasgow assault rifle ACOG.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But he made a big hole in it. Now we've seen holes in the wall directly to his right here that gives an angle in towards Trophy, but that wall on his left there regularly gets sealed up, so I'm interested to see what it is their play and why that's done.
There's a number of different reasons you could open that hole. One of the reasons being that you can, the West Lobby hallway outside of kitchen, you can challenge the window, in the B window from there now. But I feel like you could do it a little bit more conservatively. Ooh, nice drone there in library. I feel like you could do it a little bit more conservatively by opening up the kitchen wall instead, because then you can play it from much further back without exposing yourselves to West Lobby. But we'll see, again, like, maybe they have a particular, almost got that kill. Maybe they have a particular idea for that hole that we're not privy to.
So, Druid's upstairs by these windows, which has been spotted out by the fuse sitting outside. Heartbeat sensor is there, looking through the floor towards Games Room and tracking a couple of the locations. And it's one of them coming up the ladder that gets tracked and shut down very, very quickly. Window. That's the Montaigne gone already, the diffuser down already.
Both of these teams are playing
mistake.
a very similar defense, a very similar attack. They both want to do the bar snowmobile take. And in Millenium's case, they are bringing the thermite, but they're also bringing the Montaigne, but it's just not, nothing's changing in this attack. They're stalling out on gaming room and getting picked off by the copious amount of roamers.
Madrid's still free to move around inside library here after picking up 1 kill. He's got Choi watching his back from the top of the library balcony over towards the lobby. The attack that Millenium had lined up seems to have halted after losing that Montaigne.
This is similar to what we saw when they were attacking upstairs. They lose their Montaigne, they lose their aggro, they kind of stall out.
Looking to try and come in through the office side this time around, but are getting tougher and tougher as both Choi is up here on this balcony with an angle. Looks to see he will be a bit slow to react there, but Wesker is now the next man to receive them. Needs to go back across and challenge the angle again before coming inside. Lucky to be alive, but he does force Wesker's attention away. Barrage was there to answer though, and will trade that straight back before Joy takes out Renchira, leaving just 2 attackers, 1 attacker left as Drid still in the library gets Liven in the same angle he got before. Yoga's looking for that fight, falls off the balcony, does get the diffuser though as he heads up the game room stairs. Once again towards library. He knows Choi is up here, he knows Drid is up here, he's got 4 people to kill and 45 seconds to do it. He's pushing in and around slowly across this corridor. Drid hasn't heartbeat says it, but he's going to hear that and he's going to pre-fire it for a free kill, giving gBots round number 2.
No, first round. But they both won their defense.
Yeah, it was their first round, but it was round 2.
Oh, right. So it's pretty much the same exact defense from both of these teams. Hard roam, trying to force out the attack before they even establish themselves any point in the building, and they're doing just that. What I would like to see from one of these teams is bring a Montaigne, which is what we did see from Millenium, but use it differently. Don't
use it up a ladder.
Yeah, try to go up, bring it up, don't get picked off that early, and actually force the roamers into making a decision that they don't want to make, which is to default back to site, because clearly the amount of utility that's being spent upstairs, the amount of players that are being dedicated to upstairs, if they get defaulted back to site, they are going to have a lot of trouble holding, and they just haven't gotten to that point yet.
All right, old school setup here from Millenium on that castle barricade into kitchen, suggesting a very few defenders going to be left near this actual bomb site.
So this castle barricade was originally brought out a long time ago. Some people might think, well, what are they doing? They're cutting themselves off in the middle. No. If it comes down to the last 40 seconds and a team has to force themselves in through dining, then they're going to have the trouble of, okay, well, maybe we're out of grenades. Maybe we didn't bring a sledge, or maybe he's dead. Maybe we just don't have any way to get through that castle barricade. There's only 40 seconds left. There's 2 players left. 2 of them are in trophy. And now we can't get through this castle barricade. We have to force a way down the hallway. So that is what the idea behind that castle.
I want to see how slowly gBots come to the building here too, by the way, because this is a bomb site which has a lot of aggressive peaks for the defenders, and the 6 Scratcher's already pissed off a kill early on, and look at this. They are still pre-firing every window. They're slowly pushing in.
Yeah.
The other guys in the backside are still in their spawn droning. Like, they are very scared of where 6 Scratcher or anyone else may be peeking aggressively.
You say aggressive peaks on this bomb site, but geez, the aggressive peaks we're seeing on the other one. It's both of these teams seem to want to hold the entire upstairs on both bomb sites. It seems to be a common theme here, and it's working for them both, I guess, equally, given that the only defensive wins so far.
It's easy inside the office. Did have sight on the players outside thanks to his camera, but didn't want to go with the aggression. Didn't want to risk the peek. And it's a smart choice. They are still outside the building with 2 minutes to go. They are still droning to find all these different defenders with 2 minutes to go. gBots have got to start thinking of formulating a plan as they're now inside the basement, pushing towards the rest of the map.
This is an interesting way to counter the roamers that they know are going to be upstairs. By instead of challenging them full-on frontal, they're just going to head and come from underneath. And I don't know if it's going to work out for them. They are giving away the advantage, but maybe it'll catch the roamers off guard.
Up here, Drid just misses her head as she darts back into a crouched position. She's now aware of that angle, knows that they're inside, and is going to rethink where she sits. Renchiro castled off of that rotate back himself, has to get back inside the library, goes on in. Choi was there waiting for him, and he will fall down. So they're starting to pick these roamers off, but with 1:20 to go, they still have 2 to find, and, as you mentioned, then have to get in through the site, through castle barricades, which they
As long as they
have
don't
the
lose their
utility left for.
sledge, they should be fine.
Sled opens up 1, but Steezy will take down Choi, so there's their Ash, so that's 2 breaches out of the picture. Steezy now has this reinforced wall. He's got Liven up here with him, and here it comes. A push from Wesker, grenading in through the doorway. He rolls way past Steezy, who's happy to sit here, sees the man through the wall, but will miss the shot.
Oh.
Wesker comes around again, and Wesker holds the trigger the whole way. Steezy, calculated, resets, and gets the headshot. Liven's taken a bit of damage here through the window here on bathroom. Inside
Defender
the
is
bathtub
approaching a
itself
kill zone.
now. Steezy
Defender
jumps on
exposed.
outside to try and have a bit of coverage. Comes back in. Drid still unsure of where to push. The smoke grenades are keeping him out. Down to 30 seconds now. Downstairs, Steezy's picked up a kill on Barrage after he finished off 6 Scratcher. Down in the back line is picked off by Yogus inside Trophy. Drid has got himself inside the site, but he's got the diffuser and he's got to kill 3 players. He gets inside Trophy room and Yogus was waiting for him. Solid anchor to give Millenium round number 3.
So from both these teams, again, we've seen nothing but defense wins so far, and I think it has to do with really the lack of a concise attack from either of them. Well, Millenium, it seemed like they were trying to put up that, concise teamwork, oriented attack straight into Library with their Montaigne, but he got picked off so early that it defaulted back to, okay, let's just try and win fights. And that doesn't work in this situation where you have to force your way in through an upstairs. You have to have some sort of driving force, Montaigne being that driving force. Or you have to push together as a team, as we've seen from other teams like Ominous. Well, they'll bring all 5 players to one zone and be like, okay, we might lose somebody, but we'll trade it back and we'll force our way through. We won't waste any time dancing around looking for 1v1s. And that's what both of these teams are doing on attack. They're dancing around, looking for 1v1s, and ultimately getting their time wasted and losing those 1v1s.
Time for gBots to defend downstairs then. This time over, Millenium once again have all the breaching. They have the Montaigne. But can they keep him alive in this situation? What's the point? Where and how do they use him?
Right. Are they going to try and force him straight through Library and then do what we saw with Sisu? Are they going to try doing another thing that we saw for Sisu, which is pushing him straight into Master? I mean, there's a great many different ways to use him to counter the roamers, but how exactly are you going to use him?
So,
And will it be successful? Because, again, last time he got picked off.
last time they did, of course, try and pick up that top floor. They may not have to go for that this time. With all the breach they've got, they could just go straight through the garage door.
Yeah, right. an actual thermite this time, so they can push their way into the basement. And it looks like they are, actually, yeah, based on their spawns, I can pretty safely call that they are going to be going for a wine cellar attack. Now, this is a good way to counter roamers. Basically, all you have to do, actually counter that. They are going to be, strike that rather, they are going to be taking upstairs, which isn't necessary for a wine cellar attack. Maybe they don't know that, or maybe they're just trying to be thorough, but all the same, they are taking upstairs first. It's still possible that they could push their way into wine cellar, but we'll see. That is a really nice camera there, by the way. They have opened up the wall on both sides to give that camera full visibility of both of the sites. I really like that idea.
Yeah, smart play. Upstairs, Choi does get droned out, does kill it off, but they're still using a lot of utility to get control of master bedroom here. Ash charge is being used up, drone's being used up. Drid is up here, and I don't think he was spotted on the drone. I think it was just Choi. Steezy, though, takes down Wesker in the basement, so that's the Valkyrie out of the picture.
This is a wine cellar take.
Yeah, and this split pressure coming from Millenium is working out for them. The drone is upstairs and being kept busy, and the push is coming from downstairs towards the site.
So again, you can pretty much counteract heavy roaming strats by simply taking wine cellar as long as you've got a Thatcher and a Thermite. And a Montaigne will definitely be very useful. All you have to do is have somebody play in Trophy, and they can effectively cut off all of the flanks from the defending team.
So small wine cellar wall is being opened up now. Ranchira gets a big hole made in that. That's going to allow Montaigne to push in from the side of these two defenders and really be a nuisance. But they've got good holes made in the wall here, so they may be able to punish him if he steps over too far without backup. Still upstairs though, Jaeger is there. Lion will be taken out by Six Scratcher downstairs. Barrage is still close by with not a lot of health though. Smoke grenades coming out. Ranchiro takes down Drizzy, tries to peek onto that, onto the Montaigne, and Drid steps a little bit too far to, sorry, Barrage steps a little bit too far to the right into Drid's smoke, and he was already lacking a lot of health, so he falls. Only Choi left alive now for gBots, and Millenium with 5 up, are looking to go 3-1 up here and head into a comfortable lead. Choi with a great shot past the Montaigne onto Ranchiro. Montaigne still holding the diffuser. Someone else could be planting this right now.
He could clutch this if Montaigne simply does not go for the plant or give it to his teammate.
He's cautious of people coming around behind him. Montaigne is backing into the small wine cellar, thinking about it. Yogurts is going to come down that staircase behind him. He's heard him in the barbed wire now. Choi pre-firing it aggressively. Doesn't get the job done as Yogurts was ready for it. Crosshair placement just a little bit too high for Choi. And Yogurts manages to win out in that firefight.
Yeah, so a nice attack from Millenium. They effectively read gBots' defense, which is heavy, heavy, heavy roam, and they decided to go for a wine cellar attack. Now, a wine cellar attack, again, is very easy to cut off the roamers and render them completely useless. And then with that Montaigne, the anchors that are left on the site, without their backup from the roaming players, they are pretty much forced out of their positions by Montaigne and then easily picked off by the rest of the attacking players. And that was a well thought out attack from Millenium. Now 3-1 again, like you said. There's not a lot of options here for gBots. They've got to go ahead and, you know, I feel like they're lacking something on their attacking lineup here. I feel like they're lacking a Montaigne. I seriously do.
We'll see if they can somehow bring these guys to work with the setup they are using once again.
And they didn't bring a Thermite either. Now, okay, I can understand the lack of a Montaigne on a basement attack, but a Thermite I think is completely necessary.
Especially when you've seen what Montaigne have to throw at you in this situation. Millenium are going to throw that bar defense again. They know you're trying to come that way. You have them, but all you have to do is bring a Thermite, rotate around towards the wine cellar, and their entire defensive setup is set towards the wrong side of the map.
Right. It seems like a little bit of a lack of adjustment here by gBots. What it could pay off for them though. The problem I'm finding is that gBots, what their entire attack strat seems to be reliant on, is bringing into 1v1s, winning 1v1s, and then moving from there. And sometimes it works for them because they are excellent shots, and they definitely win those 1v1s a lot. But oftentimes Millenium just won't give them those opportunities, and it's showing that if they get stalled out, they really don't know what to do.
So attackers are once again approaching the building a little bit faster again. This time they're still cautious of the windows. There are more cameras thrown out now. We'll see whether gBots can find them or not. This one lands right next to Ash's feet. Not quite on the tree as he meant it, but it still provides the information as he wants. Yogurts will fall back out of library a little way and careful from behind. Once more though, the gBot attack is falling right where Millenium expected to.
Attackers have located
He
a bomb.
wants to get this pick.
He really does. He wants to jump out on that balcony and find that Ash kill.
He's just waiting for the perfect opportunity, but Choi is not giving him very many.
No, Choi is staying mobile. He's not actually on the screen right now. He doesn't know where this Ash is.
He thinks he may have just disappeared into nothingness.
Yeah.
playing outside the snowmobile garage in all likeliness, and that is exactly where he is.
Yep.
Again, there is no thermite, though. What are they going to do? How are they going to handle this attack? Because so far, 1 minute off the clock already, all they've done is dance about outside and move their way into big garage. So it seems like they're going for a wine cellar take, but with the lack of a thermite again, and the lack of Montaigne even, what are their options, really?
Oh, they don't have many, but they are trying to push through from the wine cellar side with Sledge and Capital.
Smoke is in a very aggressive position here.
Yeah, Smoke is looking to peek on around, and
no.
he does do it straight into Barrage's crosshairs and will fall very quickly. Smoke can hold that corridor single-handedly if he stayed alive and had the grenades to play with, but he is now gone from the picture. It's going to help out this push, actually, from gBots quite significantly.
The aggression from Millenium really not working out for them there, but working out for them when Yogurt peaks.
Yep, Yogurt peaks, takes down Lion. C4 being used there to make a rotate in the office, and maybe a hole into the floor below here for that Valkyrie. The shots are rattling off all over the map with a minute 15 to go. We've still got time for this to slow down a little. Attackers getting the diffuser and getting back inside the site now.
That's
Grenades
the
are heading to
Habana,
the
by the
store
way.
above.
So that means their options pushing into Wine Cellar are pretty much
She did
moot.
get that mirror window open, though,
But that's
before she
it.
fell.
She did not get the side or the small off or window. Closet actually might already be open. It looks like. I couldn't quite tell from there.
One side, I don't know, but Yogurt will take down Wesker, and that's him off the board. He's still playing in this dining room upstairs. There's the burn onto Renshiro, and down goes one more of the defenders. They know that Jaeger's upstairs, but is he ready to cover the push? They've lost yet another defender now, so one upstairs and a Rook inside the wrong site. Yogurt evens it up with one more kill. That's 3 for him this round, but he does get flanked by Barrage here and taken out, so it's just the Rook left alive against 2. He has 30 seconds to hold them for, but there's a reinforcement here that's going to allow Barrage to plant. The angle is just about, he can see the corner of the diffuser. He's going to look for Barrage to get up and maybe run away. He's going to go through. Barrage keeping his head in. There's the gun comes around. The firebolt goes out towards from the corner, and the smoke grenades are there to try and cover Barrage's position. Smartly, he stays where he is, though. He's capturing into the connector. The free fire comes out from Choi, but can't actually see him because of those smokes. Forward again he comes. Another smoke grenade used. Choi pre-fires around, but again will miss. Barrage now prone on the diffuser. 6 Crutcher falls to the spray from Choi this time. We've seen him clutch those before, but this time he just gets a little bit unlucky.
I can't help but feel that Millenium kind of threw that round away by actually opening up the wine cellar, the small wine room for the attacking team. They didn't have a thermite. Their Habana was picked off early on, and
I'd argue that spot was open for Smoke to play in, and they
yeah,
threw it away by
Smoke
Smoke
just kind
dying.
of Smoke wasted
I like that open if you have a player playing it to be aggressive,
agree,
but as soon as Smoke died, useless.
Yeah, no, exactly. I completely agree with you. I think it's fantastic to have open, even more so when you know they're not bringing Montaigne, which is the direct counter to that. But also, when they're not bringing a thermite, why not just reinforce it? You don't have to worry about a thermite placed on that wall. And Habana, at the most, is going to be opening up a small crouch or prone hole. So just go ahead and reinforce it. And more, honestly, I feel like Smoke kind of lost that round all by himself, to be honest. And like even if he just played in there, or if they just reinforced it, either way they would have won that round.
Yeah. So either as gBots are back 1 round closers are leveling it out. They are onto defense again. This time of Kitchen Trophy once more. The attacking roster from Millenium still unchanged. They are bringing themselves a Thatcher instead of a Sledge that we saw in previous occasions, and that may actually hurt them if there was a castle, but there is not.
Yeah.
10 seconds to go.
It is a very utilitarian attacking lineup here. The only non-utilitarian operator on this.
Utilitarian word?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just gonna go ahead and guess. There's a lot of utility on that attacking lineup. How about that? The only player on that lineup that does not bring a massive amount of utility is Yogurts with his Ashe, but obviously Ashe is Ashe. Ashe wins engagements, so she makes her way onto the lineup.
So the windows are open. The location is known, and this time they get their man Montaigne onto the top of floors. No more ladders to climb up, no more dangerous spots to be. And he does get onto this balcony. There's a camera waiting inside there for them, so he may be exposed to a C4 from below like previously. Can he survive it? Wesker.
So yeah, they are bringing their Montaigne to the balcony instead of library this time, so they're going to try and avoid getting picked off on that ladder. They are going to, I'm guessing, try to force out the roamers from upstairs.
Right for it, as it is though. There's only one roamer upstairs, and it's Grid.
There's one on the lobby stairs though, playing somewhat aggressively, you might say.
Fast aggressive for one. Wesker picking off Yogurts. Yes, he rotated all the way down to the basement for that kill. And then can get to safety through Wine Cellar. So Montaigne's job of herding the roamers out not working so well right now.
He's attacking the wrong side of the map.
Once again, that wall is open. Free fire from above coming through from Liven to make a hole of his zone. Shield is continuing to push through the upper floors. But now there's nobody up there. Drid is down inside the bomb site level with the rest of his team. So 4 attackers have a minute 25 to try and figure something out here. Montaigne back on the balcony. He's not holding the diffuser like he was before, so that may benefit them. But their attack is decided to come from West Main. They bring in a thermite over. They may be able to breach through this wall in towards the trophy room.
This is a very dangerous attack for any team in any situation. But they do have the Montaigne to help them out.
So Montaigne is blocking this doorway and blocking the flanks, so they've got the wall open, but now they have to get Lion out of here, and this is a very strong spot for a smoke to sit.
But again, the Montaigne.
Yeah, but he's getting tagged in the smoke, but it does force Liven's position, very easily killing Lion. Drid, though, is killed off Steezy elsewhere. Now Renshiro has to get through this smoke and get that diffuser to his team. Drid has dropped on through. Renshiro does get a kill onto Wesker. Very important that he got that, otherwise he'd be dead and the diffuser would be down. Renshiro is now planting in Trophy. This is looking good for Millennium now as they have the Montaigne to hold the wall. And the plant is through. One on the window, Claymore on the bomb as well. Renshiro can watch one way, Montaigne can watch the other, but Renshiro dies as he vaults over. Underneath now, Drid is there. They're focusing on the window. They know the Montaigne's in the corner, but Six Scratcher takes down Barrage. The C4 landed under the bomb and didn't do any damage to the Montaigne. Liven at the window, Six Scratcher around one side. Liven's watching for the run out from below. Choi and Drid, though, both inside the trophy system. Montaigne falls through the trapdoor. That's a big mistake, but he gets around to the window. They've killed Liven. The Claymore takes out one more, so it's 1v1. Choi is looking for the defuse, but Montaigne can get behind him now. He's taken too long, and it's an easy execute for Six Quattro. Millennium are on map point.
Oh, gBots. You tried so hard, and Six Quarter, he kind of whiffed that at the end. He almost lost it for his team, but the Claymore managed to clutch it out for him. I feel as if gBots is a little bit behind here, because in so many situations on attack, if they just had a Montaigne pushing, they would be able to win. And on so many situations on defense, if, you know, they get taken out by a Montaigne, they get forced out by a Montaigne, and it just seems like they're not adjusting to what's necessary on this map, and it's costing them dearly.
So, once again, to defense of the Wine Cellar go Millennium. Bringing both Echo and Smoke this time. That's a lot of area control, but we've seen Six Quattro's Echo die very early on in a lot of rounds on Kafe.
Because he tends to peek
he tends
out.
to be peeking aggressively and playing. Well, we see teams like Sisu love to use the Echo, sit him on the site, and then use the drone as a third roamer, right?
Right.
He doesn't do that. He's the third roamer, and the drone just kind of sits somewhere else. So he's dying very early in some of these situations. But if they use him statically this time, if they have him, say, watching the B site and Smoke watching the A site, those are two big denial operators delaying and delaying the time.
I'd also like to say that if Smoke decides to, instead of pushing out this time, if he decides to just simply play in the freaking closet, they're probably going to win the round just off that. If gBots goes for a Wine Cellar attack, Smoke stays in that closet, they will almost certainly win the round, simply because they don't have something to force. I feel like a broken record. They don't have a Montaigne to force Smoke out of the closet.
This other small thing to talk about. If this does go Millennium's way here, we head to Oregon's our third and final map. Another map where a Montaigne team can do very well. And if gBots haven't got a Montaigne practice, which is why they're not bringing it here, I fear for their next map.
They've not got any of the new map, and I hasten to say this, but I feel as if gBots is just maybe a smidge behind in the meta. They haven't really adapted to the Montaigne or the Glaz, and they don't have any. Again, there's just a lack of a driving force. They're trying to win their 1v1s, and they're so great at it. They're fantastic at winning 1v1s, but that is not what the game comes down to in the end. So now, a really slow start, again, from gBots. They're waiting for those picks, or for those peek outs. They know Six Quarter likes to, but luckily for Six Quarter, he's not this time.
No, he's staying in this time. He's also, I believe, still in the basement.
Yeah.
Upstairs, we do have Steezy's Valkyrie and Yogurts on Jaeger once more, watching these different angles in, because they know the push likes to come from Game Stream. Yeah, Six Quattro. He's in the blue corridor, but he's got the drone watching the staircase for him. Wesker, though, gets in, takes Yogurts down as one of the roamers is off the board very quickly now. So this is looking good for gBots. Spray into library as they do spot Steezy on that drone. Steezy is forced outside to get away from it. Does jump on over, which gives them an immediate all clear to push on forward. Choi's inside library, cleans it out and gets straight to business. Even though Barricade back inside is safe now, she's in game room. She does have the safety to go to that library staircase because of the drone that Six Squatcher had there. Yeah, but because Six Squatcher's drone is watching the corridor, she did have a window to rush quickly through it. She lost that window though by taking a long time. She's now stuck in bar. Choi's ready for her, and Choi's going to win that fight. They've also managed to pick up one inside dining room as well. He did trade one out, but Rensure will fall to Drid, so there's only 2 defenders up. But they are Smoke and they are Echo. If there's anyone that can delay a game for an entire minute, it's this combination. But how do they make it work when all of that echo pressure is being put towards the blue staircase and everything's coming from the attackers via Wine Cellar?
Yeah, but again, I have to say it. I feel as if that Millennium's just kind of throwing this round away, but having that hard roam, it's working right into gBots' hands. gBots wants you to challenge them upstairs. gBots wants you to initiate fair fights, and you're doing just that, and you're losing them because that's what they're ready to do. But
smoke grenades going out very early here. The Echo drone has come up to this end. Six Squatcher has repositioned. Again, an aggressive spot from Live, and the grenade does land at his feet. Wasn't quite cooked long enough, so he does get away to safety. The next smoke will go out. Drid is not being touched by this one. He's got the shotgun in hand. Lion is spotted. He goes down, and that's the diffuser off. Echo has been killed off by a flank here now. No, he hasn't, sorry. It was a 1. Echo's still up. Drid comes around the corner, wields the fight onto Live, and it's now all on Six Squatcher. 10 seconds to go. He's upstairs. The diffuser is going to be planted right underneath the dining room trap. If he can get over to it, he can stop it and win the round. But he is being watched by Choi, and he's staying inside bar. He was hoping they're going to run out of time. And they don't quite. He gets in through the gap. Oh, he's directly above this. All he's got to do is drop down and kill one. Barrage's going to hear it. Barrage takes him down as he falls through the sky. gBots just about hold. That plant was cancelled 2 or 3 times and was put down on the final second.
What happened there?
To delay the clock. They were moving it away from the trapdoor as far as they could and then had to hold the plant. Yep. So they put it right down to the wire.
That was
good
very
cover.
Scary.
Good cover from Barrage to make sure they were there.
And again, I feel as if Millennium is simply throwing away those basement defenses. They could easily win it by anchoring hard. There's no Thermite, guys. They're focusing most of their game on taking out those roamers, and you're giving them that.
So, live to fight one more day here, gBots. They're onto onto defense of the kitchen trophy room. If they win it, we'll head to overtime. If they lose it, we're off to our 3rd map anyway. Millennium, though, once more bringing in their lineup.
Did I just see a recruit?
We did.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs.
May have been intentional.
Maybe. I'm curious to see what kind of recruit it is. Is it a shield recruit?
Yeah, they haven't lost any important operators with their attacking. They've lost their Ash, right? That's what Yogurts
There's also no Thatcher.
Now, if they're using a recruit shield perhaps in place of an Ash, she's still very good at winning some of these aggressive 1v1s.
No, you're right. You're right. No, I mean, I could see a recruit shield working here in this instance. I mean, it's a pick that we haven't seen a whole lot of since he moved from a 2-speed to a 3-speed, or sorry, a 3 armor.
So hear this out. If they do the same push they did before, use him inside the trophy room through that wall, you don't need necessarily the speed. You just need to be an immovable object inside that trophy room. So perhaps that's what's coming our way.
I could see that.
But they also need to be better off clearing out below. They got lucky with the pulse from below last time.
M870 recruit?
M870 recruit. I think he might have just been AFK.
Uh-oh.
I don't think this was planned at all. We'll see.
Yeah.
Either way, we do have to get them clearing out Drid, because last time he did try and C4 that Montaigne and just missed it by millimeters. If he gets it right this time, the whole attack falls apart. Yes, they came close and they won the last defense, but it was very, very down to the wire. Sorry, last attack, but it was down to the wire. With this recruit pick, though, this could be an overtime.
They're stacking up to straight up go through the B window. There's no other thought process going through their plan.
Lion rotating away from it, kills off the drone, but still, of course, has his smoke charges. Montaigne is right here at the window. Downstairs, Drid is no longer in the basement.
Their entire strat is just go through B window.
Smoke grenades are going in, flash grenades are going in. In goes Montaigne, the extended shield is up. Grenades are rattling in, smoke grenades are coming out, and he does get away from it. More and more explosives going off the kitchen wall. He's got a whole army of teammates in behind him now. The recruit is low, but he is planting the diffuser. Does this really just work for them? Can they hold this? Everyone's alive. Rensure takes down Drid, so the C4's gone. Rensure's Claymore takes out Wesker. Lion will take down Yogurts, but Liven has finished off Barrage. Lion pushes straight into the sidewall, fall to Six Squatcher after taking out Liven. The diffuser is still down, and it's all on Choi, who has no health against 3 here to try and defuse and kill 3 players. He's got to get one of them, and it's a Montaigne who's now watching him in the doorway. He's going to have heard him on the right-hand side. Here he comes, spotted. Rensure has done it, and we're off to map 3 with a very, very old-school, basic, straight in through the trophy window strategy.
You say strategy, I say they jump through a window. Okay, So on that attack, they clearly established that the gBots team was roaming very hard. I mean, both of these teams roam very hard on all of their defenses, and they're like, okay, if there's going to be only one player in B, all we have to do is just go ahead and vault through the window.
I love seeing that recruit there on the MVP screen, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was.
Seeing that M870 just standing there chilling.
I feel like that
Very
was
happy.
a mistake, but at the same time, it didn't really matter in the end. It may be that they brought him simply because of the smokes and the grenades,
Yeah,
because
maybe
they
it was
made
that,
use
yeah.
of both of those.
Yeah, their entire
But-
if their entire strat was literally, we know they run their roamers upstairs. We know we can just get into trophy
Yeah.
with one player being forced out. Then muster smoke out and just fill the whole room with smoke. 3 smokes on him, but Ash has 3 smokes too.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's weird, but
the
it works.
strat was weird.
It worked.
The recruit was weird. It was weird, but hey, you know, whatever.
It worked. It's
whatever
going to take them
works.
to map 3. We are heading to Oregon now momentarily. But again, you mentioned it, the fallback, and you're going to see it time and time again here, the fallback here for gBots was that lack of entry, that lack of wall
They
to push the
just-
defenders away. No Montaigne and even no glass.
They just want 1v1s. That's all they want, and they want to win their fights, and it's clear that that's their strategy. I mean, oftentimes on Cafe, we saw them stall out entirely because simply Millenium wasn't peeking them, and it's been costing them throughout this entire matchup. I feel as if they just bring that Montaigne, if they just bring that Glass, if they bring some kind of driving, some pushing force to bully the defenders, they'll be able to win a lot more of these rounds.
Now, another couple of clutch moments coming out here at the end, but just not enough members left alive. Some beautiful pushes from the defense, trying retaking that, but they just didn't have the numbers.
And you have to hand it to 6-quarter. He influenced that match entirely. Like, if it weren't for him playing that Montaigne, it could have gone easily in gBots' favor.
Yeah, that Montaigne was just effective
Yeah.
at getting his entire team in that site, more than it was just a force on his own. It was backing it all up. So as the teams flip a coin and talk to the admins and decide who gets attack and who gets defense here on Oregon, we got to look at it. Top floor site, I expect to see both of these teams defend as their first choice. They've shown that in the
agree with
past
that.
repeatedly. It also allows a lot more mobility, a lot more flexibility for their roamers, which is what we've seen them both do for the entirety of these last 2 maps.
I would actually argue in the counter, I would argue that the upstairs bomb site is less flexible, if anything, but only marginally, because both of these bomb sites, you could easily have a hard, heavy roamer presence. You can have on the upstairs bomb site, you could have a lot of people down in kitchen. But the one difference is that if you are going to be playing someone in the basement or over in meeting hall, they're cut off from the rest of your team. It's very easily by simply opening up the lobby door. So on a basement, you can roam in kids, and you can get back to the bomb site without exposing yourself unnecessarily using attic or using a run out through armory into garage. There's a lot of different options. So I feel like basement might be a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more options for your roamers, but just marginally, just barely.
Okay, so we are looking for that final decision from both of these 2 squads. I want to talk, and I know this is out there, but tower bomb site. We saw it in the previous seasons. We've seen teams spring it on people as a surprise. The coin flip was heads. It did go in the heads' favor, and therefore we have our starting sides for this map, and we are going to load in just a moment. Lion and gBots are on the blue attacking side first, and Renshira's Millenium squad are on to defense. So, very quickly, with Montaigne and with Glaz, what has that done to the chances of that surprise tower pick? Because I feel like it's just put it even further in the ground.
Well, okay. Well, I've never seen a Montaigne or a Glaz attack a tower, and I've rarely seen tower defended at all. But I would say if you are going to be bringing Montaigne or Glaz to a tower attack, I would say maybe pushing. It's going to assist a lot in taking meeting hall, which is then going to assist a lot in just simply opening up the meeting hall wall to tower, which is going to make it very easy for a attacking team to just plant right on that first level of tower without any real contention. Because a lot of the times what would happen when you're trying to attack a meeting hall is, it's very rare again, but if you're trying to go through meeting hall into tower, you'll have somebody peek out from that doorway, which is next to the meeting hall but you can't do that with Montaigne. So anyway, moving into this match, they did pick basement first, which is a little bit, which is not what we expected to see, although it is very common. There's an open mirror.
So the reason
Attackers recover
We didn't
the
expect to
bomb.
see this.
Yeah.
Or the reason I said I didn't expect to see it was because I felt that Alpha player was easier for Rumors. Now you said that's not necessarily true.
Right.
The basement gives more flexibility for Rumors, and what are we
Just
seeing?
slightly.
We've seen a basement choice, and there is literally no one in the basement right now.
Well, there's
All-
two in the basement, but
Okay,
they're
they have
probably,
gone down now, yeah.
there's a very heavy roamer presence, which is, I guess, the objective of this defense. There's Rook playing in meeting. He's going to be kind of the guy that everyone else pivots off of. They've got a lot of reinforcements in meeting, and there's probably going to be, I'm guessing, somebody going up to Armory that looks like maybe Smoke, and then I can't see where Yogurts is, but it looks like he's also in meeting hall. But yeah, heavy roamer presence by the defensive team here. They are taking advantage of that option. The only reason you need anyone in the basement when you have a roamer presence such as this is to stop anyone from pushing in through the construction hallway. That's the only way, or only avenue of attack that a roamer cannot stop on this particular bomb site.
So Drid on this attack lineup is bringing a sledge instead of a buck, but everything else is the same for gBots. The defensive lineup from Millenium is also a very familiar sight. As you say, they're spread out across the map. Shots rattling off from Six Catchers MP5 towards some areas of the map, making some holes in walls and holes in floors, as the drones and the push is coming in from gBots' small tower location. Inside the kitchen, CZ has been droned out, kills it off before heading back to hold that angle. Gives a quick push into dining from Choi though, as he now knows Steezy's inside the kitchen location. Drid is looking to push from the other angle, but can he get inside without being spotted? He's in the toilets right now, and of course has that sledgehammer to find his way in. He needs to wait for the Choi's opening. The shots rattle out again as Steezy takes out another drone.
Don't think he heard a
Sledge's wall did get opened up, and he did turn at the last second. He fights back to try and find Choi. Nicely played by the pairing here from gBots. Choi took his attention, then turned and just hid while Steezy shot this way. The flank from behind took him out. At the same time, they also managed to take down the Jaeger. Six Catcher, though, will return by taking out Wesker's Thatcher. Thatcher is there, but they immediately traded out as Choi has pushed through the dining room corridor and taken Six Catcher down. Liven still inside the garage, peeks around and can get the down onto Choi, but can't finish him off. Smoke Grenade will go out to try and get it done, but he can't trigger it before he gets picked up from Meeting Hall by that pushing Drid. Renshiro is now alone downstairs against 3-4 if they can get the revive off. Choi, of course, surviving that smoke grenade, but with 30 seconds to go, they're taking a lot of time to get this done.
They don't know that Smoke is down. Sledge could not see him as he was shooting, and of course points are disabled in ESL.
Yeah, so they are unaware, and they could have had an idea, because why else would that smoke charge not go off? But they are playing safe. Choi comes down the staircase, does get spotted. Spray's going to come through the wall. He's going to spray straight back to it, but he loses the fight. And they lose one more to Renshiro, taking down the diffuser. He did fall, though, as the push from behind is there. Barrage shows up at the last second to finish him off.
As he can't help but feel as if Renshiro had heard this guy coming up from behind him, and it's not his fault that he didn't. A crouched, walking 3-speed is going to be very quiet, but if he had heard him, he might have been able to clutch that out.
Yeah, it was definitely a start of a big round for him, but it does all crumble at the final seconds, and as a result, gBots go one round up.
And again, I feel as if Millenium is giving these rounds away to gBots, because what are we seeing from gBots? They're not bringing the Montaigne. Yes, I've said it so many times, but they aren't, and they don't have a lot of driving force into the site itself. And Millenium, they are playing very aggressively on their defensives. They aren't just simply anchoring in the site, which is what Montaigne is so good at dealing with. He's good at dealing with roamers, yes, but even more so when you're getting into that final push straight into the site, he has a lot of pressure for the attacking team. And instead of just anchoring, Millenium is getting that aggressive roam and getting to challenging the attacking players and losing.
Time then for gBots to defend the upstairs site. They are going to be facing a Montaigne, but otherwise, again, similarly the same here for Millenium. They are going with a Thatcher from the start instead of the sledge here on CZ. Now, this push, to me, Montaigne on the upstairs suggests Armory side, master bedroom through the closet wall.
Wholeheartedly agree. That's probably going to be exactly what we're going to see. And I don't feel like Montaigne is very useful up here. To be completely honest with you, the dilemma with Montaigne is that he is easily C4 from underneath, so if there is a Pulse or a Valkyrie, or anyone with C4 for that matter, playing down in kitchen, and there almost certainly will be based upon their lineup here, and based upon the way that they're setting themselves up, almost everyone on the defensive lineup is downstairs right now, there will definitely be somebody to C4 Montaigne. It just comes down to whether or not they hit that.
So we'll find out. They have had a mixed success with hitting that in the previous rounds. Drid pulled off one in the early round to make it really worthwhile, but everything since then, not quite. So, let's see whether they can shape it up here for this map. Of course, this map deciding who advances into the winner bracket, who advances down to the lower bracket.
It's worth noting that this is the very first time we've been pushed to the third map in this entire Pro League season.
Yes, true indeed. And, well,
Double
can't say
Claymore.
it's the biggest surprise either, considering these were two of the closest matched teams coming into the season.
Double Claymore all the way. Yeah, no, these two teams are definitely really on each other for going for this win. They both don't want to be forced into that loser bracket, having to play an entire other match. It's just not ideal.
No, so the attack shaping up. Smoke grenades going in through these windows to make sure they take out any trophy systems that may be in there. Once they realize that that is then clear, what do you do with it? Because you don't have grenades to go in. Oh, nice shot from Ivan. Takes down Choi, peeking out of that kitchen doorway. One of the roamers from below out of the picture, but not one of the roamers with C4 or any kind of below threats, really. So we'll see how much that helps them. They are down to 1:30 on the clock, though, and still have plenty of time to really make this count. They are not pushing from where we expected at all, either, though. They're coming straight from this big A window.
How is
an area where
Montaigne
Montaigne, isn't helpful. He's going to like leap in and then be exposed to multiple angles, which are very easy to flank.
But will gBots be able to capitalize it, though? Because they didn't when they were pushed straight into B window on Trophy in the last map.
That's true, so we'll see. In he comes. Barrage does spot him from one side. Lion, though, can't really pressure through this other window because he's being sprayed through the mattress by the thermite, and he's unsure about the windows which were opened up earlier on. So the plant is actually going down behind Six Scratcher. Barrage will peek through as the double C4 kill from Wesker below, what did we say, takes down the planter and the Montaigne.
So that C4 was actually pre-placed.
Yep. That was the Valkyrie who died straight after blowing it up, but did blow it up all the same. As the Ash and the Hibana now have to push up this staircase to try and get themselves the diffuser back. Pre-firing is going to let Drid know exactly where they're coming from, so he's watching this angle and going to start throwing these smoke grenades out. Close each one off and just drag them in that corridor. 30 seconds to go. Cannot get up here. Yuga's going to rappel up the outside again. He's looking to try and come through the window, but there's a bandit lying right underneath there. The body is on the window frame. Barrage not quite spotted here. Yugas can't quite see him over the body that's on the window. In he comes, the pre-fire is there, but Barrage will win the fight. Up the staircase comes one more, and Lion shuts him down for a quick gBots round and a 2-0 lead.
So that was a nice pre-placed C4 from Valkyrie that pretty much won single-handedly that round. What was that attack, though? Why Montaigne... That's okay. So similar to what we saw by you said a very old strat pushing into just jumping in B window. That's not even really a strat. That wasn't really even a strat. You're just pushing yourself in through a window.
So here's what we saw, and it matches Kafe, right? They set up their attack for upstairs. They left the roamers kind of alone. But then as they pushed upstairs, then the guys down pushed for the roamers, right? But there was a mere millisecond of delay between Wesker being killed and him blowing up his C4, so he actually stopped the plant. If that kill had come through half a second beforehand, his C4 wouldn't have gone off, and that may have succeeded the plant. So a slight mismatch on timing, but the idea does match what they did in Kafe.
Yeah, and Millenium is historically known as being one of those teams that is really great at their timing. It's always on point. They have all of these different attacks, like you were saying. They were coming in at pretty much the same exact time. The guys who are hunting down those roamers, and then the guys who are trying to hold the site, or attack the site, are pressuring at the same exact time. Just milliseconds off on that, of course, killing the Valkyrie. I feel as if the Valkyrie, though, could have triggered that C4 just a little bit sooner. She was waiting for the planter to come back. She could have killed the Montaigne at any time.
That's true, that's true. But worked out for them that time. Right. It does again. Outside the back tower goes a camera from Steezy. And he will head back towards his team as they are now defending this upstairs site themselves. It's only him and Six Scatcher downstairs on the room at the moment. But that may change later on. Castle upstairs to slow down the pushes into the upper floor with both a bandit and a Jaeger with him. There we go, Six Scratcher comes up in through the back tower. We've seen him do aggressive peeks from this location multiple occasions. He did it, I believe, early on here, but has now fallen back to safety once more, leaving just the Valkyrie downstairs. Taking out any drones, making some holes in windows to allow for the sound propagation. Setting up a couple more angles to peek from. Barrage can hear these windows being punched open, just can't quite see the spots themselves. And Six Scratcher is now happy that no more action is going to come his way from there. We'll just seal it up while he's still safe to do so.
Unfortunately, you can't get rid of those little wooden bits, so you can't actually open up that hole anymore with the Deagle. But yeah, no, very slow attack from gBots. They are setting themselves up in tower. It looks like they're going to try and push their way in through attic, or maybe Meeting Hall. But either way, nope, it's going to be Attic. Hibana's making her way there to open up that reinforced wall. Kind of an odd attack, pushing upstairs from Attic. That pretty much bottlenecks you as an attacking team.
It does, but it's also a very old school strat that we've seen from a lot of teams in
We
the
saw
past,
from Sisu.
which is normally matched up with an armory / master bedroom push, right? To avoid that bottleneck.
But it's not happening.
But no, that's not happening. This is just only coming through the attic right now. And they have a minute 30 to change it up, but if you try and now rotate to the master bedroom and push from that angle with so little time to go, you're going to have a bad time. And Six Scratcher is sitting here holding this angle into attic, so the attic players can't come through early. He does move away after being droned, and well, that might give an opportunity, but the attic players are now leaving the tower, and that whole Hibana breach is kind of wasted.
Changing mag.
So, Yogus inside this window now has Lion there and around him, repelling and looking for an opportunity. He does stand up the last second, just as the opportunity to see his feet was there for Lion. Yogus looking for one angle. There's a player in each window now. Shots coming through from Capitao. He does run to the one safe spot that he could see from there. Lion looking to repel across. That shots come rattling out once again through the floor. Now Yogus is taking a lot of damage, dancing back and forth. He does finally fall, but it's wasted more and more time for the attackers. They have lost one of their own now as Liven takes down Wesker, and it is still a 4v4. 30 seconds to go. Steezy comes down and gets one onto Barrage. Liven will get one onto Lion. Steezy was down. Drid is outside on the balcony. He's pre-firing through the mattress, but can't get the kill. Liven gets back to safety. Ventura is down and he's trying to crawl to him. Drid trying to find this kill, but he cannot see him. It's just a blind spray. Choi pushing from Armory now has to find his way through too. Scatcher is watching this way. Liven is there. Steezy is on the attic looking through the cameras. Ready to come around behind. Choi will fall to Six Scatcher and doesn't even need one more. Drid does take Ventura out as he tries to come back from the bedroom. In the push comes through. Drid gets Liven as well. Steezy and Six Scratcher now have to find him. He does just hide from them. Can't get both kills. And it is a round in the bag for the defenders, and the first one for Millenium.
Now, this problem has been plaguing gBots since the very beginning of this matchup, and it is that they continually stall out on their attacks. They seemingly cannot commit to just one idea, one particular plan, and they always find themselves flopping around, moving from point to point. And it's irking to see, because Millenium, they're doing quite the opposite on their attacks. Whether or not they are winning, they're simply committing to one push. Just go in here, all together as a team, and go. And that's been their entire strategy, and it's been working for them sometimes, not other times. But all the same, it would probably benefit gBots to simply commit to one particular take on each particular round, or if they must adjust in a way that is organized.
Down to the basement goes gBots then for another defensive attempt. The Montaigne is being brought out here from Millenium, and now normally we'd say a Montaigne push on this side with a Thermite, with a Banner, with a Thatcher comes very nicely through construction, blow the red wall, blow the blue wall, push in. But we've just seen that Millenium don't like doing the conventional Montaigne pushes on their upper floor. So what are they going to do here?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this. Maybe they're going to push in through tower and push the roamers out of tower and meeting hall, and then open up the drop downs and work something with that. But then why are you bringing Thermite? Maybe they're going to do that, and then they're going to couple it with a Thermite push into construction. I'm not sure. I could see that working. Bringing Montaigne upstairs, taking tower, pushing your way in through meeting hall, establishing control of meeting hall. Hibana open all of the drop downs. Now you have the drop down above box open, so your Thermite is free to go ahead and move to the top of box, and then open up, or sorry, not the top of box, the wall of box, open that up, and then Montaigne can drop into box. You can push your Montaigne in through and get the plant. But who knows what they're going to do?
They have all spawned construction, so it's looking a little bit more familiar this time, but we'll see how it shapes up as it continues. The cameras are being placed out here in a very predictable spots for gBots. Not predictable as in going to be spotted easily, but
common
to catch the same attacks that we were just talking about, in through meeting hall and in through the back corridors of construction.
And
so
Millenium's attack here is going to counter the very heavy roaming presence from gBots, assuming that, never mind.
Choi does avoid most of the damage there from that shot that Liven throws his way. To get spotted while he was punching those windows open. Has to fall back a little way.
Gotta feel like simply pushing in through construction would have been the better bet in this instance, as there are at least 2 or 3, I think, players on the defensive team roaming right now.
Yeah, but Millenium knew that, and that's why they're putting all this attack into the upper floors.
Right.
So we'll see if they adjust or change their mind. They are getting control of meeting room now. They have got drones scattering around Six Scatcher's Montaigne. And I like that Claymore. Did you see that?
I did.
It had one laser pointing through a hole in the wall at the top of the staircase.
located by
But the
attack.
Claymore itself is on, look, you see it by the generator there. The laser is pointing through the hole in the wall, but the Claymore itself is actually outside.
That is hopefully going to be very useful.
That's sneaky, I like that.
And it looks like their attack is
And
somewhat...
thank you, cameraman, for doing
Yeah.
that.
It looks like their attack is similar to what we were talking about earlier. They took control of Meeting Hall, they opened up the drops, and now they're thermiting their way into box. They're pushing their Montaigne in through the hallway instead of dropping into the box, but it's pretty much the same as what we were expecting.
Yeah, they have got their one player above. All smoke grenades are now used, so once this one times on down, that's that delayed. There's no echo this time around for gBots. They haven't run it at all. It's been 6 Catcher, but that's all their delay gadgets out of the way. Now they've got to rely on gunplay. Wesker just catching sight there of the Thatcher as he sprints across. Lion tries to sprint into another corner and survives the fight for another day here, but it's going to be a tough one. As 6 Scratcher tries to edge down the corridor. Perfect peek from Barrage, shoots him in the side, a perfect flank. Wesker pre-fires around and will not quite land the shots on Renchir, who comes back and tries to pre-aim the corner again. Lion gets down this time by the fight. Choi with an angle doesn't win it as Renchir will shut him out again. In the push comes from Millenium and it is looking strong for now, but they do lose the diffuser as Wesker peeks around to take down Steezy. Lion was finished off from his downstate in the corner, but there's still 3 attackers left up. One upstairs in the form of Yogurt. Where's he going to become known? In from the backside, Liven now is taking out the barbed wire. On the other side of the mirror window is one more. Barrage finishes off Liven though, and now it is only 2. Renshiro down. Yogus is going to drop through the hatch. Peeks around for one side, and he will get Wesker before being traded out by Barrage. 8 seconds to go, and it's a 1v1 now between Renshiro and Barrage. Renshiro has the diffuser and is planting inside B. Barrage is aware of it. He's going to push forward for it. Doesn't go just in time, but there's a couple of seconds left. Renshiro doesn't have the timing right and cannot complete the plant before Barrage gets on top of him.
So that was exactly what we predicted with the attack. They took control of Meeting Hall. They opened up the drop downs. They forced the defenders back from the box, and then Montaigne was allowed to push into the site. But unfortunately, Montaigne exposed himself to a crossfire in the hallway. That was a little bit of a misplay, I think. And we've seen time and time again when Millenium lose their Montaigne on their attacks, they lose a lot of their momentum overall, and they tend to lose those rounds. So kind of, predictable loss there for Millenium.
Yeah, just angled a little bit too far to the left, allowing Barrage to get a shot round behind the shield and save that Mira's life. As it is though, Millenium back onto defense of the basement again themselves now. Looking to hold out against this attack from gBots, and once more, no solid driver coming here. No Montaigne, no Glaz from gBots, but they have made it work before.
I see, again, I can't help but feel like Millenium is allowing gBots to make it work, because if Millenium hard anchored with the lack of a hard driving force to push them out of the site or force them to maneuver as a defensive team, I feel like they could easily win those holds, and Millenium's been handing it to gBots.
Especially as they've shown they like to run both Echo Smoke combo, which is very strong at holding this basement as your double anchor.
And then they get aggressive with that. It makes no sense at all. But that's what it is.
That's what they're going with. You can see Barrage there at the top of the scoreboard for gBots stepping up big on this map so far.
I didn't catch it.
He had 8 kills.
Oh boy.
So the next man on his team, I believe, was 4. It was
4 rounds in the bag and 4 rounds already and 8 kills. That's pretty impressive.
8 to 4. Stepping right up. Top of the tower he comes now though. There was a player up here moments ago. I don't think he's aware of this. It is, however, no longer there as it was 6 Scratcher once again getting down into the attic and reinforcing their wall with seconds to spare. Smart timing there from 6 Scratcher, figuring that out and knowing when to get away. It's now back towards the meeting hall ladder. Shots coming through from above by Renshiro to give himself an angle onto the corridor and the stairway below. Down underneath him is Steezy to cover the kitchen below. So once more, a very aggressive spread from the Millennium Roamers.
Will it work out for them this time?
We'll see. Drid takes out the default camera. Once more, Drid and Choi, of course, are going to be the challenge for Steezy here. Last time, they bested him without doing or taking any serious damage themselves. Can he come out on top this time over?
Gotta figure he's gonna play a lot more passive instead of peeking onto that ash like last time.
Yeah, look, he's already run into the meeting hall with Renshiro, so they backed away very, very early on this time.
No risks here.
Yep, much safer play. And, well, Millennium aren't aware of this yet, so they are still wasting time trying... Sorry, gBots is not aware of this. They're still wasting time trying to clear him out. So this is a smart play from Millennium on this occasion. Breaches coming in now from Wesker at the backside of the meeting hall. Renshiro is up on... But he's going to be right next to 6 Scratcher and Renshiro. None of these 3 players seem to realize how close they are to one another.
Looks like they're going to default.
They are defaulting. 6 Scratcher and Renshiro given the opportunity to fall back. Wesker could have picked them both off there. He just didn't have the eyes inside that meeting hall to know that was an opportunity. has to drone for himself, and it gives him the opportunity to fall back. Minutes to go, 5 defenders alive, tucked in downstairs. A lot of utility being used upstairs here by the attackers. Actually, not 5 down, up.
Oh,
Drid.
it's the sandbag.
Oh, that's awkward. Drid will win that firefight, taking Steezy out from above. Just as the push starts to come from below, but Six Scratcher does take Wesker down. Lion taking Renshiro out. Choi was down, but now gets revived. Barrage stepping up again, gets the kill onto Six Scratcher. 2 defenders left up now, 1 smoke, 1 Jaeger. 4 attackers, but 2 of them are low. Liven gets a good shotgun kill on the staircase, and that's the diffuser. He's going to know about it too. Saw that fall. Choi vaults over, picks up the diffuser. Smoked out from here, is going to have to come back towards the drop. 25 seconds to go. Drid at the back has Yogurt's attention. Choi looking down through the hatch. He's going to catch an angle here on Liven, but can't quite finish him. Liven runs to the stairs, ducks away again, perfectly timed to stay safe. Looking back to the hatch, knows the diffuser is in Choi's hands. Here's the shotgun coming down, but Liven will not win that fight. Choi gets down. Yogurt grabs 1, does get away to safety. Choi's in the plant spot. Drid's coming around the corridor behind him now. Yogurt tries to flank back the other way. The plant's going down with 2 seconds to go. Yogurt is in a momentary 1v1. Looking to try and find this kill onto Drid. He knows exactly where Choi's going to be. Drid, though, down and behind the cabinet, now has a friend back in tow. Choi's finished the plant, so it's a 2v1 again. Drid steps up. Yogurt sees him. Knows roughly where Choi's going to be now. He hasn't had a chance to move from the plant spot. Checking the cameras. He's got teammates to do this for him. Up the staircase goes that last remaining attacker. Yogurt's in a 1v1 with more health to play with. Still checking cameras that he shouldn't need to be doing. It's right underneath the plant spot. Looking to the staircase. Choi's looking through the trapdoor. They still don't know exactly where he is. He's inside the classroom. He doesn't have a hole in the wall. He's looking for it. Sees it. Yogurt picks it up and has time for the defuse. Beautiful clutch play. Keeps Millennium's dreams alive here, and we head to 3 rounds to 2.
So Yogurt's checking his cameras just a little bit too much. Your teammates in that situation will be making the calls of, hey, we don't have any intel, and in that case, you really do not need to be getting onto cameras. But whatever the case be, he did win the round. He clutched it out for his team, and there's not much to analyze about that. To be quite frank, Yogurt's just came in with an excellent clutch. There was kind of an interesting attack, though. They took a lot of time to get to that lobby, and it didn't seem like that was their initial thought. They put a lot of pressure onto the roamers early on, and they didn't actually get any picks at all.
Stepping up huge for his team there. Pulling that out of the bag as they now swip to attack again. Once more bringing that Montaigne in.
And that's the only that's only the second time that Barrage has been killed in this entire match. Or this entire map, rather.
9 and 2.
Actually, 2 of the players, Drid and Barrage, have only died twice in this entire matchup, and those are the rounds that, of course, Millenium won.
Oh.
Now
the setup for upstairs goes in place here from gBots. It's once again looking very familiar, but before, as we mentioned, it came down to that millisecond of timing with the C4.
You gotta figure that this time they're gonna either shoot the pre-play C4 or be ready to stop Valkyrie from placing it after as their Montaigne goes in. Because obviously with their last attack, when their Montaigne vaulted in and they came in to hunt down the roamers at the same time, they weren't expecting a pre-play C4. They were expecting Valkyrie to go to place it at the moment of Montaigne vaulting in, and it just wasn't the case. But they will be obviously ready for it this time.
They are, in fact, attacking completely differently. This is what we expected last time round. Yeah, they're coming to the armory side, coming to master bedroom, not from the junkyard and over towards the A site. So they're not going to fall prey to the same pre-placed C4 this time over. But however, there is opportunities for it to be done over this end instead if gBots realize this is where it's coming from and look to make that play. Right now, however, I do believe Wesker still has it in his hands, so he is allowed to be flexible. He was droned outside of that meeting hall, so that's where those revolver shots rattled through the wall in his direction, but he gets away again and starts throwing at a couple more cameras. Gets away to safety. The attack from Millenium is shaping up quickly on this edge now as the defenders from gBots have to rotate away from this end and safely back to their team before they're singled out.
Both the defensive team and offensive team are just kind of skirting around each other here. They don't want to commit to any hard engagements. These stakes are so high in this situation. This is match point for both of these teams. So whoever wins this map will be winning the series overall and moving into the winner bracket.
Six Scratcher gets up the main staircase. It is exposed to pressure from below, but he is safe because of Yogurt's here in the meeting hall, and they know about it. Drid and Wesker are both down here, but they can't do anything about pressuring these players on the stairs above them yet, because they don't know what's waiting for them. They're going to let the clock burn down, though, at 1:30. Smoke starting to use his charges now, as he has gone back upstairs to the site above, leaving just Wesker down here alone. The thermite charges have gone off inside the
master bedroom and given an angle in towards the site, but Mantain's going through the corridor instead.
Can't quite see where he is, but he looks like he's
peeking out just as Mugus looks away, and Wesker once again gets the important C4 kill onto that Montaigne, and that's the diffuser drop, just as Yogurts turns his head away from the doorway where he could have seen Wesker stick his head out. There, though, Steezy is here to answer the kill onto Wesker, but the damage has been done. Claymore inside the closet will allow for a fallback after this plant has gone through without being chased. But can they get the plant off is the question. Pre-fires to the A-bomb go through. Lots of players on that back staircase here for the defending team. They need to get up and into that generator bomb site if they want to stop this plant. And that's being covered from multiple angles here by this man on the connector window, by the man on the kids window, and now with these smoke grenades going off too. In they go. Steezy gets tagged up. Yogus is going to replace him and does actually down gBots' Drid, down that smoke player. Steezy now rotates around, goes back into the corridor, and is going to look to try and plant at a different angle. Choi peeks outside and gets Renshiro from below. Lion now takes off Steezy, and that's the second time the diffuser's been dropped. 4v2, 4v3 as Yogus takes Barrage down, but he hasn't finished off Drid, who's still in that staircase, very close by. Lion with the crossfire. Flashbang comes through. They're going to double peek at the same time. Liven takes down one, but Drid will take down Yogus. Liven now has to find two. Finds one of them, looks for Drid. He knows he's in the staircase, pushing him with the pistol out. Goes for the fight. Drid just reacts in time to shut Liven down and put gBots on map and series point.
So time and time again, when Millenium loses that Montaigne on their attack, they just stall out and are unable to lock out the round. And that's exactly what we saw here. Wesker doing his duty by his team and getting rid of the Montaigne early on. And it's, yeah, that's the second time on this exact defense, different places, but they really need to focus on stopping Wesker or just applying pressure before they push him with Montaigne, hunting down that Valkyrie ahead of time. And oh boy, it's a Glaz.
gBots are learning.
They're evolving. And I think it's probably going to, you know what? I have to guess that that's going to help them lock out this match.
I think, well, I mean, they're almost certainly going to put him on that A window, smoke it, and look through there, right? That's got to be the play.
Yeah, no, okay. So there's a couple things they could do. Obviously, they could put they could put him on master balcony, and they could have him play the master and hold the flank, and just go ahead and be it all over. Just cover the bomb plant once they get that closet open. They could put him in armory, do something similar to what we see with Blackbeard in armory, and hold the hallway. Or what is most likely, and what you were guessing, is they're going to put him on the A window and just go ahead and smoke and push in. Try to get those picks on the defending operators. There is no mirror window on the defensive team, so which is what we were seeing on gBots. Do mirror window on that A wall looking towards the window. So it's going to be pretty easy for Glaz to push his way through that window if he chooses to.
So let's see how the gBots Glaz play is going to work out. Will it push them into that winner bracket game? Or will we be looking at another round here as Millenium bring us into a 4-3 scoreline?
This is the very first
time. Opening up half of that closet with a hole into it, rather than reinforcing both sides.
Six Quarter's not wasting any time here this time. They are not trying to challenge at all. He just wants to get safe, which leads me to wonder why they opened the hole in the first place. They could have easily just, you know, reinforced it and saved it.
He did do a quick peek again,
yeah,
but it was a very quick peek. No more hanging around this time. So
not worth the utility in my opinion.
No, I agree. But
especially not when they're ready for it. But it doesn't really matter. Now I'm curious to see, again, as we all are really, where is this Glaz going to go? This is the very first time that gBots has brought a Glaz or Montaigne to this matchup, and this is the third map already on match point, so it's been a while.
He is over by the dining room. He is being used to push in through this dining hole first.
So they're trying to get rid of the roamers.
Yeah, just using him for firepower to get rid of the roamers until they're ready.
I actually like this because what they can do with that is he can open up that entire kitchen wall by himself very easily just by shooting through it, and then he can hold all of below the site to deny C4s from underneath.
He made this hole into attic again. Last time they did this, they didn't even use it.
Yeah. Well, they might use it this time. We'll see. There's a Liven all the way down in basement. He is likely to come up on the players who are playing in tower right now, but I'm going to guess, based upon the fact that we have a Thatcher on the board, there is a Claymore to stop him. Uh-oh. But will it? No Claymore.
I don't see it, no.
Wesker's droning, so if he simply goes up the stairs right now, he doesn't know this, but if he goes up the stairs, he will get a free pick.
Oh, we can hear the repel here, though.
Uh-oh.
Is he ready for it? He is, and oh, Barrage has aim on point. 10th kill of the game for Barrage right there.
And since Troy didn't see anyone down in the kitchen, he has moved himself up to the windows, and he's going to go ahead and smoke.
Bedroom windows this time around. So this is also where the planter's sitting at. The diffuser is here. He sees a leg through the wall. He will get the down. He will die off to Renshiro afterwards, but he's taken 6 Quattro out, and that was the man inside the B site. Renshira's in a tougher spot to defend this from being locked inside the other side. Nice kill from Steezy onto Wesker, and that's going to give them control of the attic back. Can they hold them off here? Lion still repelling on the windows, and this is an important position to hold when you've got that repel on the B wall, on the B windows rather.
They got off in time.
They got off just in time to get around towards A and potentially survive that flank from Steezy. Beautiful timing from gBots to get away from that. Barrage, darts across. Steezy will have called out the flank as a second one now by that window, but with 15 seconds to go, is that really enough? Fire grenades going to the back of the A-bomb. They're coming in through the window now. Drid looking the far side. He's looking to cut off Steezy as he's coming back, and he does. Drid takes him down. The Planter's going to go through. They're peeking through the fire. Barrage gets another kill, and with that, gBots advance to the winner bracket. Millenium put up a valiant effort, but can't bring it out of the bag in the last map.
So gBots, they only just adapted to the quote-unquote new meta at the very last round, and it did do work for them. It was very useful. It told them there was no one underneath the site, and thus they didn't have to worry about roamers down there. So they were allowed to freely push onto the windows, and he got a pick on it, but they made it work regardless without bringing the Montaigne, and for the most part, without bringing a Glass, they did beat out Millenium.
11